welcome to my shoddy baby.
Okay, very good. Very good. She's clean.
Yeah, she's looking after her. Yeah, I mean, she's 2004. Now, the guy that got it off, apparently she's only got 7,000 miles on her.
Right.
Which isn't bad for a 2004 model.
Very good, isn't it, for 2004?
Whether that's true or not. But yeah, no, I've got V5 with it, so I'm pretty happy with it. But as I said, from what I know of this bike, it's on absolutely standard suspension.
Okay.
Now you're going to be able to tell me whether the suspension is absolutely shot or whether the suspension needs.
No, I mean, you know, typically on these, the stock Showa units they're not that bad. For track day work, definitely I would recommend going for an upgrade, especially on springs and potentially piston kits as well, rear shock. But as stock suspension goes, it's not too bad. So we can get this
base
suspension.
Model, isn't it?
We can get this stock suspension to work very, very well, which would be absolutely fine for sort of entry level to sort of, you know, up to intermediate level on the track day for you. But eventually, I think you will potentially reach the limitations of what you can do with this, and you know, it's going to probably hinder you a little bit in order for you to get really fast. You know?
Okay.
But anyway.
We're not at that point yet, are we?
No. So let's get the best we can out of what you've got now.
Okay.
So what we're going to do now
is
I'm going to measure the sag at the rear, and then we're going to go and measure the sags at the front, and then I'll dial in the sort of damping seconds to give you a starting off point, particularly on the rebound and the compression. Okay.
When we talk about sag,
what
the hell does that mean?
Well,
basic.
Sag basically is a measurement of, in basic terms, it gives me an idea of the geometry of the bike.
Okay.
So, you know, the more sag you have, the more the bike is sitting down, so to speak, and the less sag you have, the more the bike is being supported by the springs. Okay. So when we adjust the preload on the springs, which on the CBR is actually, the preload adjuster is actually on the bottom here.
Okay.
When you came in, you saw me spray some more freon oil on these, because these tend to corrode up and seize and makes it a bit difficult. As you add preload onto the spring, it either lifts the back of the bike up slightly, or if you take preload off, it actually lowers the bike. Okay. And the sags sort of are a really good way to measure and get the bike sort of set up in terms of the basic geometry, to get it within the window. Okay. If you have too much sag, the bike can sit and squat and run wide. If you haven't got enough sag, you can have a lack of grip, and it can feel a little bit harsh and bumpy and skip on the bumps and stuff like that. Okay, in very, very basic and simple terms.
Just from speaking to you there, I think this bike has too much grip.
Okay.
Too much grip.
Too much grip.
Too much grip. It's not a bad thing, is it?
I don't like them. Too much grip is not a bad thing. That's a good thing.
We'll see.
I'll hold the bike if you want to whip it off the paddock stand for me. Okay.
So this would be a lot easier on a bike with a stand on it, wouldn't it? Let's be honest. But
a little bit, but it's fine. So what I'm just going to do, I'm just going to settle it, and then I'm just going to get a quick measurement. So what I'm trying to see here. Okay, so that currently I'm looking at 5, and now what I could do is having you sit on the bike really.
Okay.
So if you want to
be on the bike.
Right. Now just keep as much of your weight. Yeah, you can kind of.
That's my full weight on the bike.
Yeah,
now.
so that's your full weight on the bike. You are without kit, but I can make an allowance for that. So that's 25. So actually, you got 25 mil of rider side currently without kit. Now that's probably going to increase, I would suggest, by 3 to 4 mil. But as that stands right now, that's actually in the ballpark. It's not bad at all.
Okay.
So I'd be quite happy with that. I just want to get a feel for your rebound damping. Okay. Just see
Can you just explain that then? So rebound dampening.
So rebound damping is when you have two forms of damping: compression damping, which basically determines how difficult it is to compress the shock, and rebound damping, which controls it after the shock has been compressed and you've got all that potential energy in the spring.
That's in the spring.
Basically waiting to just go in the opposite direction.
How that reacts to that.
Yeah. So without damping, if you didn't have any damping, it would be like riding a pogo stick. So you would hit a bump, and the suspension would just want to continue to oscillate until the energy is eventually dissipated. But with having damping in, then the energy in the spring, so from the compression and then the rebound damping, the energy is basically damped out, so that it doesn't basically go, bounce.
Exactly.
Keeps that wheel.
Keeps it all smooth.
Keeps the wheel in contact with the ground. and gives you that traction that you need. Okay. Again, the damping doesn't feel too bad, but I'll just make a note of where it is. So the rebound adjuster is on the bottom of the shock, and I'm just going to wind that in and just count the number of turns out. So that's at half currently, and to be honest, it's pretty much bang on actually, believe it or not.
Okay, that'll be interesting.
So that's quite good.
So if that was well out, let's just say, what would be the telltale signs?
Well,
for
if
anyone?
I just give you an example, I can wind that all the way out.
Oh, right, okay. This will be interesting.
Right, so I can wind that all the way out, and straight away, if I bounce on it, so just lean it to me a little bit if you can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh God, yeah. So much more movement.
Okay, so and when you do it quickly as well, you can see that it just kind of wants to.
Yeah.
It sort of bounces a little bit, and I want to take some of that out. On these shocks, you'll find that the rebound damping does also affect a little bit on the compression damping, but just take that back to a half.
Okay.
The compression is a little bit diluted taste, so that's currently on 4 clicks out from fully in, and with you being a little bit on the sort of heavier side, should I say?
That's a bit offensive. But yes,
for the stock suspension.
I'm a larger lad.
Yeah, by the time you put your kit on and stuff, I would suggest probably springs could do with it, probably upgrading on these a little bit, give you a bit more support. But I'll leave the damping. If you've got plenty of grip from your previous experiences and looking at the tyre and stuff, I'll leave the compression damping at 4 for now.
So going forward, one of the advances would be to get springs.
Yeah, springs. Yeah. But better again would be to replace the rear unit. Okay. Either with a second-hand one, which is then being serviced and checked over before you put it in. Yeah. A lot of people have a misconception. I'll buy a second-hand shock.
It'll be fine.
It'll be fine, but then they put it in and it's not fine. It's got the wrong spring on it. It hasn't been serviced, and
that's another service. So if I was to get the spring, send it off to you first, get you to check it, get you to service it. Yeah. Potentially, and then be putting it on as such.
The shock, yeah. So exactly, so we can do that, and many people do. So they'll buy a shock, either new, or they'll order it from us. We'll order it and get the right spring rate and everything built into the spec. So the shock that you get will be, the perfect sort of rate and setup, and then we put it in, set the bike up again with the new shock in it, just to double check everything. And then the same again with the forks. So if you were to send us the forks, we'd strip the forks down. Fit piston kit and some springs in there, and probably some FCV control valves to give you a better range of compression adjustment, and then come back and then just final set the bike up. Yeah, exactly. Good. So we'll go to the front now. Okay. So I'm going to again have to ask you to take some measurements for me. So if I can just get you to, I'll hold it sideways and make it easy for you to measure it.
Okay, so the top of the rubber seal to the,
you see it? So basically
to the top of the rubber seal.
Yeah. So what have you got there now?
87.
87?
Yeah.
Okay, and what is that now?
It's like 98.
87 and 98?
Yeah.
Okay. So you got 27 mil of sag currently. So what I'd like to do is just add a little bit more, because I'd like to bring that down to around about 24. So pass me that 14 spanner. That one, that's it. And what I'm just going to do is I'm going to add more preload. This is actually going to lift the front end up and give the front a little bit more support. Okay. You're probably going to end up, as I said, quite close to full preload here on this particular bike.
That's good that they're actually moving now. I didn't know whether anything like that would have been seized.
No, honestly, this bike is actually in very good condition.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting to know, because I don't know.
It's not being, because normally when I come to these, they're all completely mauled.
Right,
people have messed with them. It actually feels pretty plush. It doesn't feel too bad. I'm pretty. It's good. You got yourself a really clean bike. You did well there.
That's good.
I'll just adjust your rebound damping. So again, the rebound in the front is adjusted at the top of the forks here. So I'll just. And then if you just hold that side for me, I'll just check the compression damping it.
Doesn't ever go on the road.
Did you find that the front dived a little bit too quick or anything?
On the braking, yeah. Okay. I actually, when I did Donny, I found that at the end of the main straight there, I was braking and it was like all my weight had gone, even though I was sitting back in the bike, it had all gone forward
was the back
with it.
end getting light? Like
yeah,
that?
the back end, every time I was coming to the end of the straight, was actually, it was actually shivering a bit. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, yeah. So what I'll, again, having added a bit more preload to the front, we'll add a bit more compression damping. That'll help to settle that.
Right, okay.
You know, what we might also want to do is you've got room to adjust the geometry of the bike as well with pull through on the forks.
Okay.
So there is more adjustments that we could make.
Okay.
You know, so some racers complain about the back end coming up, it unsettles the bike, they can't get the line that they want every time they brake. So what I tend to do then is I'll make some changes to the geometry of the bike in order to help when they brake that the back end stays planted. And they can put the bike where they want it to go.
The back end definitely went light at the end of this straight. 100%.
As you get faster as well.
It's going to be more apparent.
Exactly. So by upgrading the front fork springs, for example, to maybe some that are slightly heavier rate, we'll support that front end more.
Okay.
Keep the back end on the ground.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's other things that obviously will get involved in and can be
so advanced, really, isn't it?
There's lots of things to think about and to take, sort of into consideration when setting the bike up. But getting these basics right is the first sort of.
That's it. Like you said, get the basics right. Exactly. Get my riding better, and that will then assist.
And then as you progress, then we can. So I'll just go to that side, and I'll just this side.
And in terms of condition of the stuff, like you said, do you think I've got a couple more track days out of these? Or
well, yeah, I mean, I don't think I think at this stage you can ride this bike, you can get a feel for it and enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah.
If you don't know when the service of when the suspension has last been serviced, it's worthwhile having them whipped out and checked. Shocks typically, that's a fully rebuildable shock, can be fully serviced.
But if I'm upgrading, is it worth doing?
If you're upgrading it, you might just want to keep it so that you've got something to put the bike in, keep it on wheels whilst your shock's getting serviced. Yeah. So put it on the shelf. If you were to put it on eBay, they go for 40, 50, 60 quid. In terms of the forks, it's always worthwhile having them again, serviced. They aren't leaking or anything. They look in good condition. They look very clean. There's no pitting on the tubes.
So why do people get leaking forks? Is that road use really?
Well, a number of different things. Leaking forks can happen when the forks have been pitted, either from a stone chip or from just general chrome starts to degrade over time. You get rust pitting on the forks, and then obviously that tears through the seal and they'll start to leak. Sometimes when you've hit a really big pothole, that can blow a fork seal. Sometimes even when the fork's on straight. So when you put them into it, the forks are actually under tension and are twisted slightly. That can cause a fork seal to leak. But primarily it's just due to damage on the stanchions, or in some cases it can even be fly shit that's gone hard on the fork stanchion, and it's like rock hard, and it can like tear the seal as well. So that's why you need to make sure your dust seals are in good nick. So when they start to perish, then there's more of a chance of that happening. So the dust seals help to sort of scrape any rubbish off and don't let anything interfere with it as well. Exactly, yeah.
I'm learning something new here, definitely.
Every day's a learning there.
Yeah.
So so that's basically. So the bike's now, having gone through it, this bike was actually not a million miles off.
Good. But it's worth doing it, even like you said now, there's not a million miles of changes there, but I've got peace of mind with it.
Yeah.
Just from speaking to you, I've got peace of mind that the forks are in a good condition, and I know where to advance as well with it from just speaking to you as well.
Yeah, even the fork caps, you can tell here looking at them, they're really clean. There's no mole marks on the caps themselves.
I won't be touching
this bike's been looked after.
Okay. Yeah, although it might look a little bit tatty here and there, it has been maintained. Yeah,
absolutely.
Oh,
fantastic.
Good.
Brilliant.
Right. Happy days.
Yeah,
right,
let's stick it back on the stand. And then, there we go.
Fantastic. Right, wicked. Well, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. And let's get her on track. Let's see where we go from here. I'm already thinking about upgrades. I've seen all the nice shiny stuff in there, but I know first for me personally, I need to learn a bit more on circuit.
And like I said, just follow me. I'm gonna just make a note of where we are with those settings now, just before I forget.
Okay.
And then at least when it comes to you know, if you phone me up, I'll know exactly where the bike was, and you know, that everything was within that setup, and we can go from there. So if it needs a dialing in, I'll say, yeah, just do this and just do that. I might ask you to add a couple of clicks or whatever, half a turn of compression, or maybe a little bit more rebound. But as it stands right now, you know,
that does feel better already, which is weird.
Right.
Okay. So apparently he's got a little present for me because of my good behaviour. Oh, thank you very much.
There you go, get some of them on there.
So we've gained about 2 brake horsepower now. We've got some TW suspension stickers. I feel like when you're at the dentist and basically, you know, when you've earned some stickers at the end.
Oh yeah, you've been good.
Yeah, I've been good. But honestly, Teut, thank you very much for today. I feel a lot more confidence in a bike. Couldn't be any happier with these guys at TW Suspension. He's really helped me, give me a lot of information, and also this stuff is quite technical and we could have gone on for hours and hours, but he's really broke it down for us and we've kept it pretty basic, would you say?
Yeah, well, I kept it as simple, you know.
Yeah.
I could probably go on a bit too long sometimes, but yeah, try and keep it, break
But for
it down,
me,
keep
not
it
being
simple.
as knowledgeable,
Yeah.
he's made it basic for me, and now I understand the workings of the bike a bit more and the reasons why certain things are happening. And once I jump on them next couple of track days, I can now give them a bit of feedback. This is happening because of this, or this is much better, and then we can advance with more suspension options potentially.
Yeah.
If you like this video, let us know, because we're talking about doing some others potentially.
Yeah, maybe
we'll see
we
what
can do
happens.
some more videos, so if you like it, and we'll be
But
glad
first
to
of
do
all, go and like these guys. They're on Instagram. Are you on Facebook?
Instagram, Facebook. You can get us on emails at inquiries@twsuspensiontech.co.uk.
Fantastic.
So feel free, email your inquiries through, and I'll be happy to answer any of the questions you might have.
I'll put a load of links in the YouTube below. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye.